Would you rather have teeth that are super crooked or teeth that are as yellow as a banana?
I want to have teeth that's crooked. Not yellow teeth, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, would you rather have telekinesis, that's the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds?
The ability to read minds.
So you want to know what everybody's thinking?
Yeah.
And what they're thinking about you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you rather sit or stand for the rest of your life if you could only choose one?
Yeah, I'm going to stand up. I'm just going to stand up for the rest of my life.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to go with, for sure. Would you rather find true love today or win the lottery next year?
I want to win the lottery next year.
You probably do.
Would you rather find out that you are an adopted child or discover that all of your siblings are adopted?
Rather find out my siblings are adopted.
I think I would too.
Would you rather swim in a pool full of Nutella or in a pool full of maple syrup?
Nutella. At least it's thicker.
It is thick.
Wouldn't want syrup
No.
feeling sticky and wet.
Me, I could see you swimming in a pool of honey.
Of course you could. Would you rather have to drink all your beverages from a huge bucket or a baby bottle?
A huge bucket. Don't give me no baby bottle. I'm not sucking on nothing.
Okay.
Would you rather have a personal maid or a personal chef?
That's hard. A personal maid.
You rather have a personal maid?
I want a personal maid.
Okay.
Yeah, I need somebody to clean up every day, all the time. Okay, just keep everything clean for me. That I can declutter my mind.
She not lying, y'all.
Would you rather be able to live as long as you wanted or be the strongest superhero in the world?
I would rather be the strongest superhero in the world.
Okay.
Tell me if you like it when I kiss on your lips. Guide you through the valley of an ocean. Make you breathe in slow motion. Read your mind and come explore the galaxy. Have a little taste of my gravy.
Welcome in, y'all. I'm your host, Asia.
And I'm your host, BJ. And
this
welcome
is
to Extra Script.
Yeah, y'all.
Appreciate y'all for pulling up and tuning in. Before we get into anything, y'all go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. If y'all listening right now on any streaming platform, go ahead and hit that download button. They actually have an auto download button too.
Yeah, they do.
So go ahead and hit that button too as well.
Yes,
make
they
sure
do.
Make sure you don't miss any episodes.
So today we got actually some good stuff to talk about, y'all. I'm gonna say like this. I do have a confession today. Thank y'all so much for participating and entrusting us with like really personal information. Before I even jump into it, if y'all want to send anything into us, y'all can go to our website www.AsiaandBJ.com. Tap in, fill out the form, send it over, y'all. I'll take a look at it and see if it's good enough to be on here, worth us discussing and get our unbiased feedback, input, as well as the fam. Everybody be chiming into the comments. I be saying what y'all be saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to the fam too. Y'all been showing some major love to us lately.
Because we've got like a little nice influx of like confessions coming through.
Yeah, we did, y'all. I didn't think y'all was really gonna be telling me stuff like that. Okay. But y'all do. Okay. So shout out to y'all. Okay. Also, we kicked off our October Scare Fest for this month of October.
Ooh.
We've been getting into it, y'all. This month is going to be crazy with the scary movies.
It's going to be crazy scary. It's going to be off the charts, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we watched Psycho. Psycho was the first movie that dropped yesterday, y'all. That was actually from 1960, which is our oldest movie on the channel so far.
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, but it was really good, though. Definitely like a mind twist at the end, like something I wasn't expecting in the entire movie until it got to the very end and we finally figured out what actually happened.
Yeah, I really like the misdirection, how they kind of like had you swaying in one way, thinking something.
I really thought that man was like...
It really was something else.
Yeah.
It really was something else. And it really like gives like a perfect depiction of what a psycho would be.
A psycho person.
Yeah.
Which was crazy because I really thought the entire movie, like y'all, spoiler alert, I really thought the entire movie that there was more than one person. There was actually the mom and the son. Yes. The entire time I thought that until we got to the end.
And it is kind of touchy too because it really touches on like, mental health and mental illness too.
Yeah. Well, I think too, and I read in the comment section, y'all were saying that, or some people were saying that it exploited what people thought about mental illness, but it was really just supposed to be just the cycle in a movie. That was really supposed to be it. But
Norman Bates.
yeah, some people thought different of it because of like the outlook it gave, but
it does.
It's just a movie,
and it gives another a different outlook regarding going to a hotel on the side of the road.
Yeah, no, don't do
where
that.
It's where every room is pretty much vacant.
Yeah.
You
ever pull into a hotel and every room is available? Leave. Okay. Don't be the one that stays. I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah. And don't let them put you in room number 1.
Yeah. Definitely not room number 1. Just saying. If y'all are not a part of our other YouTube channel, Reeling with AsiaandBJ, make sure y'all tap in all month long. We dropping scary movies. It's going to be so fun. And we also are going to be continuing to drop our Sopranos and what else is coming out right now?
And Game of
Thrones
too as well.
Yeah, y'all. Yeah. So make sure y'all chimed in. Okay, tap in, like, comment, subscribe. Go on over there and show us some love if you don't know. Okay, if you're into reactions and stuff, it's okay. You don't have to tell everybody that you watch reaction videos, okay? But come watch us because we're a good time.
I'm trying to tell you, perfectly said. Well said, babe.
Today we are getting into something very, very serious, actually. I will say it is a trigger warning. I'm going to just give y'all that up front. It is a trigger warning. It might be triggering for some people to listen to it. So, if you're sensitive to triggering type of stories, you might want to click off of this. But I wanted to bring it to the forefront just because I felt like it was something that was really serious. I felt the way about it. I'm gonna just say that, and then we can get into it.
Yeah. This is particularly like something that a lot of people go through, but probably would never like shed light on or bring up,
right?
Because it is very, very sensitive and very, very, very touchy.
This is titled "I Blame My Sister." Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Thank y'all for being who you are and always spreading positivity. For reference, I'll call myself Scott. Excuse me for going into a long spiel, but I have to give you guys a little backstory to give you the complete picture. Let me prepare you by saying this isn't your average or regular story. Recently, I confronted my sister about something I felt has been on my heart heavily for at least the last 10 years. We've always had a somewhat complicated relationship in the past, but over the last 4 to 5 years, I've really started distancing myself from her, almost to the point of no contact. Right now, we are definitely in a gray rock phase. It feels like the older I get, the more resentful I've become. I'm 31 now, so to give you a time frame when all of this started, I was 18 years old. I had a full life ahead of me, but I can't express enough how excited about life I was. And though I couldn't predict a future for myself, I always had big dreams and great ambitions. Not that life hasn't been good up until this point, but there's a few things I'm very unhappy with in life considering my age. I am a single man. I have no children. I live alone. I barely have any friends, and I'm struggling with being confident with my sexuality preference. Here's the worst of my struggles. I am not the biggest fan of being intimate with women, and here's why. My sister, I'll call her Kristen, is 3 years older than I am. I had graduated high school, and that summer, though I didn't have any plans on going to college, I was looking forward to a summer of fun with my friends, the ones not going off to college, doing car stuff with my buddies, and of course, celebrating my 18th birthday. Yes, I graduated high school at 17. My parents were just barely able to keep our heads above water with working their minimum wage jobs, but they never really let us see their financial struggles growing up. Mom worked at a chicken spot, and Dad, in and out of prison, was getting paid cash under the table to drive trucks, so he wasn't really around much.
Wow.
All that to say, our birthdays were never extravagant, but we knew how to get by with just enough to make ourselves happy, at least if only for our birthdays. This particular summer birthday was similar to others before, but still was supposed to be fun. Instead, it's the birthday that changed everything for me. A birthday from hell. Some might beg to differ, but here it goes. We'd gone up to our local swimming pool, broke out the Bluetooth, grilled a couple dogs on the grill, grabbed some pops, and went dipping like our lives depended on it. All the friends I could find were there, and so were Kristen's. The worst ones, if you ask me. She always hung out with the same girls, but let's just say a couple of them were very much on the wild side. Long story short, the party ended. All my friends had gone home. Most of Kristen's friends left, and my mom left us, me, Kristen, and her wild ass friends, to go to work that day. But no one thought that what happened afterwards would be a story to haunt me even through my adult years. After finally leaving the pool, Kristen invited her friends back to our apartment and we all walked home. When we got home, I hopped in the shower, and even though I locked the door before I started, I could hear the bathroom door being opened and closed along with girl giggling. So in an attempted rush, I had done my business, washed off quickly, got out, dried off, and hurried to come out of the bathroom. Kristen and I were masters at unlocking the bathroom door, so I knew she had opened it. Before I walked out, of course, I got dressed, went into my room, and there, Kristen's two friends were sitting on my bed. I didn't think much of it, but I did tell them to get out. However, they insisted on giving the birthday boy a birthday treat.
At first, this is going.
Yeah. At first, I kind of laughed them off, thinking they'd read my sincerity. And when I noticed they weren't really moving to get up, I called Kristen several times, loudly, at one point screaming her name. And instead of her coming to my aid, I heard her laughing as she turned up her radio on full blast, slammed her bedroom door, and pretended she didn't hear me yelling for her to come. Before I knew it, one of her friends pulled my pants down while the other proceeded to do some very unwanted sexual gestures. I won't even bother going into detail, but I am repulsed by even speaking on it. Both of them were full on laughing and telling each other how much of a baby I was being, calling me scary, and grossly taunting my unappreciation of what they were both doing to me. After slapping away their hands multiple times, speaking the words stop and no, I eventually gave in. I sat there and let them do it. They both wanted in on the action of giving me oral sex, and it was clear I wanted them to stop.
Wow.
They just ignored me and playfully continued on laughing the entire time. It was like they thought I was enjoying it. I finished, he put in quotes, and they seemed to think that after my knee-jerking reaction, my first time, in parentheses, they proceeded to tell me that I was now a real man. Afterwards, they got up, wiped their faces, playfully and flirtatiously laughing, and finally, they walked out of my room. I just know my real thoughts were the fact that I felt completely violated. I tried to tell my sister that I felt really upset about what they had done, but even she insisted that I'm a guy and said flat out, what man wouldn't invite a blowjob like the one they had given me, and she completely blew me off. To this day, I have never felt the same about what she allowed to take place. I have tried mentioning it to a couple of my friends, but of course, none agree with my actual feelings. They all said I had gotten lucky. But bottom line is, I didn't feel that way. I never have. What are your thoughts? I love my sister, but she really hasn't ever spoke of it. We have never spoke of that day. She's never owned up to the part she played or admitted any wrongdoing. I never spoke of it to my mother because I've always had conflicted feelings about it, even though I feel it has affected me very much as a man, even to this day. Unfortunately, I never even had the opportunity to tell my father because he died in a car crash when I was only 21. My mom lost everything. We became homeless afterwards, moving place to place, and she became very depressed about that for a long time. So adding my problem to the pile would potentially only make matters even worse. Am I overthinking what happened? I really only want clarity. I honestly feel like I haven't been the same since. Am I wrong for blaming my sister? Signed, Anonymous.
Wow. So, I mean, before I even say anything.
Y'all, that almost makes me emotional.
Yeah. Before I even say anything, like I got to give kudos to our anonymous confession writer just for opening up like this too.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see how someone would want to not necessarily say anything, especially like I said, when it's involving like your family and then like telling your mother and then just the effect that it may have. But I feel like that's going to be like the natural response, especially being that age and having friends. Like, and me just thinking from my own perspective.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I feel like.
Like his friends,
the perception is always going to be, it's like, you got lucky. Oh, they gave you a blowjob.
Yeah.
You should have liked it. And a lot of times, majority of the times, that's how they see a man as far as like sex goes, as far as like whenever a man has an opportunity to have sex, it's like they're going to want to have sex. And that's not always the case.
It's not always the case, especially.
And he was a virgin.
He was a virgin. And he said, he was like, that was my first time even doing that, to the extent of even going that far. So it seems like, he really just kind of wanted to live, and enjoy life.
I have a younger cousin. He's like 19, and I think he's still a virgin, but he's like that too. He's really into like his friends' cars.
Yeah.
Kind of like those things. He's not really into girls.
And it's,
and he's straight.
Yeah. Even to say that, I'm like, dang, he really kind of gave you a whole background. Like his mom and dad were struggling to bring him up. So it sounds like, he was around his sister a lot, or.
Because his dad's a truck driver.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's probably around.
He probably was around
his
her.
mom and his sister a lot.
Yeah. So the fact that his mom would leave him with his sister, I mean, being that he was 18, it was on his birthday, like he, was having a great time with his friends hanging out. Like, I feel like that's kind of fucked up. It's real fucked up, if you ask me, but damn, who wouldn't be affected by that, especially if he tried to address his sister? I mean, and to call it for what it is, like if you really just want to put a word to it, I feel like he was the R word. I don't know if I could say that on here, but I'm just saying, I do feel like that's exactly what he was.
It was SA,
Yeah.
Somebody would, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But that's definitely what it is at the end of the day, because like you said, it's without her consent.
Because he didn't invite it. He wanted them to get out. Like, and then what does his sister think about that? I wonder, like, now I'd be curious to know like what it is that they're doing today, because he's 31. So she would be 34.
Yeah, 10 years
old at this point. 34 going on 35, or I'm not sure the exact age difference. He said 3 years. So damn, you know what I mean? Like, You went this entire time without ever addressing something like that she allowed to take place, basically. Like they opening up the door, they playing, like, why he just trying to just
Yeah, and
take care of personal business,
And from what I'm hearing too, just through the confession too, regarding the sister's friends, it sounds like they were really out to prove a point when they said that now you're a real man. So it really was them just taking advantage of him. And it kind of makes me think too, because like I have a sister and she's way older than me, but she would never allow like her friends to touch me or to do anything like that. Yeah, she would have beat their ass.
I feel like I feel like she, hell yeah,
like it wouldn't like that, like, that's kind of like your duty to your younger sibling is the protection. No matter how it may look like, okay, you 18, you should be having sex. My friends, they want to do X, Y, Z, and it's just like, and really, like, the older sister should be like, no, don't touch my brother. That's like, that's my brother.
Why would she? The fact that she let them go into the bathroom while he was trying to take a shower, number one, you opened up the door. Almost like, like maybe she thought that, I'm not even going to defend her. That shit is foul. Yeah. Like, maybe she thought that was something that he would be like excited about, or that would get him excited, or
maybe
that would like make his birthday a birthday,
like the icing on the cake,
type of thing. So that's why she kind of allowed it to go on. Like, that's the only thing I could think of in my head, to think that just like that would be okay. Like, and maybe because he was a boy, he was turning 18 years old, and it was his 18th birthday. Like, you supposed to go into your manhood now because you are considered a whole adult. But I can't really put together in my head how that is okay. I absolutely think that you should blame her ass, like, and hold her ass to the cross for it until she speaks of that situation and apologizes for what she's done. Anybody would be traumatized behind something like that because, and it's not playful.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably the highest degree of violation and sincerity of someone's personal space, to affect them the way that they could be.
Mm-hmm. It's a form of violence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't he be affected? Grown man or not. Like, I feel like if it was 20 years, you'd feel some type of way. If it was 10 years, if it was 5 years, that shit wouldn't get out of my head until I feel like it was addressed properly.
Right. And I feel like the perception is that men always want to have sex, or boys always want to have sex, or it's okay for, women to make these type of passes at men and it be okay. Even to the point to where it's forceful. Because even like me, like when I lost my virginity, I was like right around like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
And even my first sexual experience wasn't like the best experience. I felt like it was like forced. And I just feel like that, that as far as like men and societally, that they feel like, that a man should be okay with having sex. Like whenever a woman wants sex, that it's okay for a man to always consent to having it,
And that's obviously not the case, but I'm no damn professional. I'm just giving my opinion. But I just think that even from a woman's perspective, like, I don't know. I just feel like if somebody told me no, that they didn't if I was trying to take your booty, like if they told me no, I'm finna go. Like, and that's it, Like I'm not gonna sit there and ask questions. I don't want to know why you don't want to. I don't give a damn. You said no, the answer's no. Like no means no. Why can't that be the same for a man? It's my thing.
I just feel like that word is a little different when it comes to a man and a woman. When a woman says no, people like understand it like, okay, no, don't touch a woman, because I feel like their respect level when it comes to sex is a lot more higher for women, or at least it should be. But when it comes to a man, when a man says no, it's like he's saying yes.
No.
And that's just not the case.
That means hell no. Like no means no. Period.
And it definitely sounds like he definitely has some trauma behind it, because he's saying that he's still single, haven't had kids.
He doesn't want to be intimate, and almost like struggling with if he even wants to be with a woman. You know what I mean? Like that probably more than anything. As far as like his sexuality,
it definitely sounds like he's like conflicted. Men deal with the same types of like trauma too when it comes to sex.
Why wouldn't they?
But that's what I'm saying. But I just feel like the depiction of what society deems is okay for men, even when you amongst other men, and you're talking about like you don't want to have sex with certain women, or they'll look at you, or even in a man's mind, just the male bravado, it's gonna make you look like a bitch.
Right.
It's gonna make you look like a pussy. You know what I mean?
To some degree. I guess it depends on what type of friends you're talking about, but I can understand.
Man,
I do.
I feel like probably majority of them
don't
look at you like that.
I understand what you're saying. I definitely do, especially just feeling like the point of peer pressure in a sense, where you're being pressured to do something that you really don't want to do.
It's just crazy that they were listening to this confession, and that's literally like my experience for having sex the first time. Felt like I was forced to a degree. Or better yet, like I wasn't necessarily ready, but I just did it because a girl wanted to.
But there's a difference, though. Like, did you do it because you felt like she just wanted to, or was she more so like forcing herself upon you, and you were like, "Oh my God, no, please don't do it," and she did it, and you just eventually was like, "Okay, fine," No,
for me, it was more. I just felt like it was more forced. I didn't necessarily say no, I don't want to.
Yeah,
but it was like her making these very, very aggressive advances.
Yeah. Where you felt like, oh shoot.
Right. So it was like it was almost like you felt like it was your duty to do it.
Because that's what she wanted to do.
Right.
Or that she probably was gonna go back and tell somebody that you were telling.
I didn't care. I mean, I wouldn't have cared if she went back and told anybody, but I feel like just as men, I think you feel like you're forced to do it to a degree, because a woman is making an advance at you, and in your mind, it's like, hey, I'm going to feel like a pussy for not doing this.
I can understand that.
Or you're less of a man, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not the stud that everybody think that you are.
Not only that, but then the fact that they're, calling him scary and, he said no.
I think
he
that's a
told
fear.
them to stop.
Yeah.
And they continue to go carry on. So I guess some people might think that because it is a man that they can overpower themselves out of the situation, like in terms of just the physicality part of it, because they are stronger, they are bigger, they are more muscular.
The masculinity.
Yeah, like the part of saying like, well, why wouldn't you just push her off of you type of thing,
Right.
I don't know where the fine line falls within or in between.
I feel like obviously he was telling them no, so he wasn't giving them consent. But at the same time, just as a man and your masculinity, you feel like, okay, I have to do this. And I feel like that's literally what it comes down to, is like feeling like I have to do this. Even if you are scared to do it or inexperienced, it's almost like you got to psych yourself out of like saying that I didn't like it. Like it's almost like that's my duty.
Yeah.
I did it.
And I almost want to say too, it almost sounds like he's confused, because he said something to his friends and his friends are like, no, probably like, bro, you got lucky, man. Like, I would love
2 girls.
Yeah, like, man, what are you talking about?
You probably got men on here right now that's sitting here like, look, listening to this story and listening to us right now, and they like, I'm 45 years old. I ain't never had 2 girls at one time. Oh, man, that's the dream.
Oh, my God. Like, what?
Right. At the same time?
Yeah.
At the same time.
and for him, like, hearing that from his guy friends, like his sister basically was like, what? You a guy. Like, what man wouldn't like invite something like that to happen? Like, for her to straight up say that to him when he's expressing to her, like, I had a problem with that. Like, there was something wrong with that situation and I wasn't comfortable with it. And you straight up just was like, no, you a man. Like, boy, get over yourself. Like, who wouldn't want that? And so now I feel like he's completely conflicted with really feeling that he felt validated in his feelings about that situation. And even his friends have done the same thing. They've invalidated like what he is saying he really felt.
That shows you his sister's like mental mind frame as far as like what is acceptable for a man to do, because she's literally like in the mind frame of you should like it. Why would you have a problem with a girl putting her mouth on your penis,
right,
and blowing you off?
Yeah, I do know. And another part I would think about too is like, I would be curious to know like what her upbringing was like to think
that it's okay.
That was okay. Like, I would just, it has to be something in her to have made her thought that was okay. I just don't get it.
I just feel like that's the societal stigma though, just regarding just men, period.
I do think that there is a stigma though. Like, you're absolutely right in saying that. I guess like, and when you think about it, just like, dang, like, and that same thing with physical abuse. If a man were to tell their friends or tell anybody that their wife is beating on them, like, they're going to be looking at them like, what? Yeah. But that's real shit. Like, that really happens. Like, men really can get abused. Like, and why? So, So,
of course,
doing those things to them in a sexual way does not make them exempt from that same situation. Like, and that's the part that
and
I feel like really needed to be brought out into the forefront. Like, it doesn't make a man different or make them feel any different that they are in a situation or put into a situation that will traumatize them for a lifetime, just as it would a woman.
I feel like if you have like a sexual experience like that, especially like being young, that could really set that man up in the future for some really, really bad consequences, because then he may come across women that may particularly tell him no, and in his mind it's like, no, this happened to me, you really mean yes, so I'm going to force it upon you because it was forced upon me.
Exactly.
And then you have some men that get so apprehensive about having sex after having such a bad experience like that,
they don't want to do it.
They don't necessarily want to have sex,
right?
They
don't want to do it at all. Like, you can become over sexualized behind stuff like that, like kind of what you were explaining. In some ways, like, you don't even know how to say no to unwanted sex because it has been forced upon you so much, or in a case where it traumatized you when you said no and then you felt a certain type of way. Like, I feel like there's so many different things that affect you after that, like long term. Like, and if you really don't sort through it and work through it and you know, in my case, I felt like I had to talk to somebody to really understand it. Like it fucks with your mind, you know, for a long time, and ultimately it will lead to you making wrong decisions, even
Facts.
not even with yourself, but with your children. You
Facts.
know, like
that's
the part that really can like that scares me
like
to death, like for anybody.
As far as like perception regarding like sex,
yes,
and
yes.
and then teaching your boy or your son that it's okay for a girl to make advances on you.
Yep. And then
you just never know
the potential of you doing that to your own child as well. You know what I'm saying? So the cycle just continues unless you just have to know better, and you have to do better, and you have to fix yourself because that is not the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that this question was sent in, this confession was sent in, because I feel like you definitely should be, you know, validated in how you feel and how that has affected you. And I really think that you should seek some type of therapy behind it, just so you can get yourself right and heal yourself, because there is trauma. Most of all, like, I feel like it's even more hard to be like honest with yourself about what has happened, especially when everybody else around you is making you feel like you the crazy one for thinking that what happened to you was okay, you know, and it wasn't. So yeah, I think you should blame your sister. I think there should be a conversation had. I think I would, like, some kind of way, like, I feel like I would push them away too, because if you go through life and definitely have no understanding, but most importantly, never having an apology for somebody owning up to what they did to you, like again, it fucks with you.
And
you
it's
know?
10 years later too.
Yeah, this is 10 years.
So he can't even get past it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he brought that to the forefront, because it actually kind of helped me address, like, you know, my first sexual experience, and like really kind of think back and hearken in and kind of agree with him that, you know, we both were kind of in the similar situation, even though it wasn't completely forced upon me the way that it was with him.
But you still felt that same pressure.
But you still felt that same type of pressure.
Yeah.
And I would love, like, men and other women's comments just regarding this particular confession, and then also just, you know, the societal stigma of like men always wanting to have sex.
This was actually a really good segment, and I appreciate that. And this conversation probably needed to be had.
Definitely, this one definitely has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, man. Oh well, you know it does for me. I just, you see, I couldn't even hardly get through the story and not feel emotional because obviously my situation was different. Your situation was different, but there were still long-term.
There's still parallels to it.
Lingering effects of
Absolutely.
it, you know?
Yes.
So I understand. I understand. I overstand. Okay? In hindsight, she probably was like, yeah, that was
pretty
kind of fucked up.
Right.
You know? That's probably the worst thing I could have did to my brother, but she not going to say that was the worst thing she did to you.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, shit. Tell her ass.
Let me ask this question here. And let me just get your thoughts on it. Do you think it's a problem when there's a large age gap in a relationship?
Oh man.
Do you think there's a problem with that?
Like what kind of age gap though? Cause age gap could be like 5 years. Cause me and you are 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like,
I mean, just
when
period.
I say like 25 years, like, okay, I got questions. I'm a little concerned.
I mean, you see it here and there.
Absolutely, you see it. But like when you see people that do that, I think people all think like, I
that is
wouldn't
not
say
gonna last.
All people, but people they question the relationship just straight up, right?
Yeah. If it's a huge age gap right there, because you know, 25 years, I've already lived a whole life before you.
Right. That's what I'm like. You got like a 50-year-old man and he's dating like a 21-year-old, 22-year-old.
Well, like 25, 26.
I'm concerned.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Genuinely concerned.
No, but let me ask here. I would say somewhere between like 7 and 10 years. 7 and 11 years, you know?
I mean, I don't think that there's like a major problem with an age gap to that degree, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. No, I do think like in terms of aging, like the differences in opinions and perhaps like maybe the way the mindset of how you think or, your financial situation versus like how somebody younger might think in a financial situation. And I mean, there's going to be differences and setbacks, right? Just because y'all are different ages. Like one that's younger might like to go out and do social things with their friends and hang out and every now and again, even in a married situation, like that's just might be what they like to do. But somebody that's older and more settled and more, just lived in life, they're not interested in wanting to do that. And so it could create that conflict and interest, arguments, anger, resentment to some degree, especially when you start putting kids in the mix.
Right.
Like, yes, because you're gonna think one might think different than the other, and one might not be as active and can't be as active as the other one can be. So
it's like sexually, like energy level.
Yes, sexually, just physically, like there's a whole aspect of things that differ in age. Like, you just think about what you are doing now at this age and what you were doing 10 years ago is going to be completely different, So when you think of it from that point of view, I'm just like, yeah, I think to some degree there's going to be some issues just because y'all don't think the same all the time.
Yeah. And, again, it comes down to like, where you're at in life.
Yeah.
Especially like I could see someone like with the age gap being like 7 to 10 years. I could see like a big disparity in regards to like mindset regarding like career, maturity level.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. And then also just as far as like planning to have a family, like you could have somebody that's 10 years older than you and, they've already kind of experienced having children. So they might be in a point in life where they like, okay, my kids, they getting older now. I'm not ready to start over. Mm-hmm. Just thinking of like someone that's like 25 and then, somebody that's like 36 or 37.
Yeah, but
getting with somebody that's 25 years old. I just feel like there will be a big age gap regarding a lot of those things. And studies do show that the bigger the age gap, the less likely
they are to stay together.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but not only because then, again, that 25-year-old in 10 years might not like what she liked at the time, and that other person also gets older too. So like I said, it's just like there's going to be a lot of differences, but I mean, it's going to be a true test of love and how much you really, really, truly care for somebody at the end of the day, because time will reveal all, honestly.
And then like experience too.
Yeah.
Just someone being more experienced that's dated longer. It would take a high level of like communication skills for them to like really be able to like make it with that age gap.
You already know what you're getting yourself into by doing that. Like, regardless of what age you are, you could be 30 and the other person's 45. Like, that when you turn 45, they're going to be 60. Like, you know this,
Yeah,
so,
but you may not be prepared for actually what life, hands you once you get to that point.
But that could be for any age though. Like that can be for anybody that's the same age. Like you really, like, you never know. Like, what if y'all decide y'all want to get together and then one person completely comes like completely disabled and you end up having to take care of them. Like, everything has changed.
Yeah, as far as like health. And I feel like that could be like the apprehension in regards to like a man or a woman wanting to get with someone with that age gap.
When I think about it, like, I feel like now, like, obviously it's not anything uncommon because people do it all the time. And I know people who actually are married that have age gaps like that, but then now, like, I don't want to say it because they might know who I'm talking about, but now I feel like like the reason, like before when they got married, obviously they were a little bit younger, and now that they're like older, one of them is older. They've grown, like we're kind of the same age, and then the other person is well older.
Yeah.
She has a lot of complaints about things, even though I feel like she's happy to some degree. Like, she complains about him a lot because of things that he's doing because he's older. Like, he has different habits than she does.
Right.
Like, just to put it into perspective, and it's like she also has a son that's younger, and that's not his son. But because like, he's involved in baseball, he's involved in soccer, he's a high school kid, and this guy
So he's moving.
Yeah, and he's like, sometimes I feel like she's complaining that he can't keep up with the son.
And that's what I was talking about regarding like energy level.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those things do play a factor too.
Yeah.
And I remember like years ago, just kind of like talking about like celebrities. I remember like when Demi Moore got with Ashton Kutcher, and everybody was just like, "Oh, man, she's just so much older than him." Like, just that age gap, and we saw that eventually, the relationship didn't work out. And I just feel like it takes a lot for someone to have that big of an age gap to continue to stay together like lifelong. I remember I saw something in the headlines and social media where this younger guy, he got with the grandma. It was almost like she was like a sugar mama.
Yeah.
She was like 50 years old, and he was like 30.
You use that? That's exactly what I was gonna say.
That's what I feel like she would be to me. Like, that's my sugar mama.
No,
I'm 25 and she going on like 48, 49.
I'd be damned if anybody called me the sugar mama. Like, no.
I feel like she a sugar mama because I look, Asia.
I'm not gonna be with you. You calling me a sugar mama, like? But that's what they like. Is that they,
that's what I would like too.
Well versed, they more experienced. They already know, like they already have navigated through this thing called life. So it's just like, hey, sugar mama.
And she probably got a granddaughter that's probably like a few years younger than me.
That's possible. I feel like you see that a lot though. Like, especially the majority of the times that I've seen it, it's always like the man is much older. And obviously we've watched some stuff like, what is it? I want to say like 90 Day Fiance or something like crazy like that, where it's like these people meet these other people and it's like, what are y'all really together for? Like, what is this really about?
I remember that.
Yeah.
I think I do remember that.
So what's really going on here? Does love really conquer all? Like, it has to really be that you really love somebody to do something like that.
Yeah, but the only way that you can gauge that is if it like stands the test of time.
That's what I'm saying.
If
time will reveal
if they only been together for like a year or two, like I'm like, no, wait on it. Like y'all need some decades, like to really be able to prove that can be sustainable regarding like that age gap in y'all relationship and y'all stand together. But I feel like a lot of men that get with a lot of younger women, they look at him as a sugar daddy or like the daddy figure.
I don't know. I can't.
Like I said, especially if he's like,
I don't think that they see him that way if they want to be with him, especially if they having sexual relations with each other. Like,
but some women like that. They, because you have women that are like 24, 25 years old.
No, but look at like the Olsen twins though. Like, you see how young they are, and then they love like both of them.
And that's where I'm going with it. As far as like, you have some women that are like 24, 25 years old, and they want to get with a man that's like 40, 41, just for the simple fact that he's more mature. His conversation is different than somebody that's 24 or 25, and that's what they like. A man that just is experienced and can talk about a lot of different things and stimulate their mind beyond what a 25-year-old boy could do.
I feel like it just comes down to like preference because some people that like that's all they want. Like, you can be 30 and you still want somebody that's like 55, 57. Like, that is what they want. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all they look for.
And so it's not based on sex, I feel like. I feel like it's based on like them just being, experienced and just the things that younger girl could probably learn from him. She just feels security, his conversation and things that his walk of life has been longer. So he's well versed, especially if he's a decent looking man too.
Yeah, because sometimes they're not decent looking. Even if you flip it around, like... where the woman is older, and it's just like, even the younger man is like, it works,
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's something more to it than that. But do you think that it depends on like the looks though? Like, or it comes down to the sex? Like, if they weren't attractive, like what would be your first opinion of a big age gap like that? Whether it would be a younger man or a younger woman and an older man or an older woman. Like, what would be what's the first thing that pops in your mind and you like, he not even cute or she not even... Like
as far as the age difference?
Yeah.
I can't really gauge that because everybody is different. It's all situational,
Well,
but
that's what I'm saying.
it's just gonna depend on like how much you really, really love, how much I really, really love her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all chime in. Let us know what y'all think about that in the comment section. Because I know it's some out there that probably do date or are married to younger women or younger men. And why? Why did y'all decide to go that route? I'm just curious. No judgment. Okay. Hey, whatever floats your boat. I'm happy for you. If that's what you love, I love it. I love it for you. Okay.
Whatever floats your boat.
That's it.
Sail on.
Right. If your parents hated your partner, would you stay in a relationship with them? Okay, now we going back to the younger and the older thing. It could be same age. If your parents hated your partner, are you gonna stay in a relationship with them? Because my parents hated you.
Yeah.
They just hated you. Okay, you never had a chance. You never had a chance. Literally, you never had a chance.
Yeah.
So my answer is yes.
Well, and the proof is in the pudding regarding us.
My answer is yes. I'm just saying.
But just typically, I've dated early on, and when I caught the vibe, if I brought a female over to meet my parents or to meet, my sister, just my family, period.
Yeah.
If eventually, I caught a vibe that they were just like, no, that ain't it. That's not it. Don't bring her back over here. I don't like her. I don't like how she look. I know she fast. I know she gonna cause problems for you.
Babe.
I probably will listen to her if I was still in high school. But if I'm grown, out of the house, I would still date her. But it's just gonna depend on how much you value your family's opinion regarding.
But I feel
regarding who you're dating.
That's gonna and how much you probably have respect for what they're saying. Because some people
exactly
really look to their parents for approval or their family for approval of the person
too.
that they're with.
If they're telling you things that's just out of pure love and them really trying to guard you and trying to make sure that you good, then I feel like you can kind of take that opinion and kind of apply it a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're gonna do what you want to do. But
most people do. I feel like most people are gonna just do what they want to do. I do think the age matters because if you are in high school and your mom says no, don't bring her back over here. You probably gonna be like, okay, I really can't bring you around my mama anyway.
Yeah, but when you get older and your father or your mother disapprove, you probably you gonna still date them, but you probably just ain't gonna take them around the house,
right? And you probably
you ain't gonna bring them up.
You got to learn on your own. If they said they didn't like her for a certain reason, and you continue to carry on, it's okay. Well, let me fall and bump my head and figure it out before I really understand what my mama was talking about, or my daddy or whatever, Yeah. But the majority of people, I think, they just gonna do what they want to do.
Majority, yeah.
Yeah, because if you think even as a kid, even high school even, and your mom is I don't like that boy. I don't, you still gonna talk to him because you like him the way that you like him, and you think that your mama don't know. All along, obviously, your mama probably knows more than you do.
Yeah, but it probably took for you to bump your head.
Right, for you to really figure it out, But again, it was it took for you to do that, for you to be like, damn, she was right.
Yeah.
Damn, they were right the whole time. I remember the first time I met your family, I was so freaking nervous. I was so nervous. You were come over here.
Before me, how often did you meet your boyfriend's parents though? How many of your boyfriends can you think that you actually met their parents?
Really, none, because there was baby daddy and then there was you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really
I'm saying even in high school.
No, I didn't really. I couldn't date.
I got you.
Like there was the one boy I told you about. In high school, I was a freshman and he was a senior and he was shorter than me. I really couldn't even take that for real.
I got you. I got you.
So I mean, really, to me, he don't even count. Honestly,
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, y'all.
But even with me, now that I think about it, pretty much every girl that I dated, I met their mom or their father.
Really?
Literally, yeah.
I don't think, and I never went on a date. I never ever got a chance to go on any date with a boy.
Mm-hmm.
any like boyfriend that I had, like I had to keep that at school because Lord, like
kind of like a secret.
yeah, because you already know like with the kind of life it was. It was like any inclination that like if I was talking to a boy when they drove up, like I would never hear the end of it. Like it didn't matter what boy it was. Okay, he could be missing 8 teeth in the front, like it was a problem.
Right.
You know,
or he could have been gay.
Or that, like no boys.
And they'd have been like, leave him alone. You
No
know he
boys.
not gay.
The only time that was just crazy, man. I literally would stand in like groups of people so that it wouldn't look like I was just talking to a boy. Like that's how it was. And aside from that, like that was it. I told you, like I didn't really talk to anybody.
Yeah,
like I didn't really have a chance to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And so when you started coming around, you literally were the first person to actually meet my parents ever.
And even when I met your folks, I wasn't like nervous or anything because, like I said, I feel like by that time I've already had been kind of doing that before, as far as like
you
meeting
was
the
already
parents.
out there and everything. You was already out there just doing all kind of crazy stuff.
No, I wasn't doing crazy stuff. It was just like I
was doing crazy stuff. What?
Kind of, yeah, I was kind of doing a little crazy stuff a little bit, but no, just in regards to like that structure though, as far as like the right thing to do is to meet the parents, meet her mom and meet her dad. Like that was like that structure that I already kind of had, kind of moving along and growing up. So I at some point I always like met the parents, hung out with the parents, and went through the whole dating my daughter, spill with the dad, and like all of that,
Dang. Yeah. You was real involved in everything. Like, no,
I kind of just had to be.
I didn't want to bring nobody around my parents though.
Yeah.
I just that's how I felt. I didn't want to even bring nobody around them because how they were. Like, even you, I was just like, oh gosh.
Yeah. So like, yeah.
I mean, if you remember when we first went over to my folks in them house, I was like, oh.
Right. And I might have like
you
spoke to them.
In the car.
Yeah. But I felt like it was easy for me at that point. Like I wasn't.
Yeah, but as easy as it was, you see how that worked out.
It probably wasn't easy for you though.
No, it wasn't easy because I already knew it was just gonna be a shit ton of judgment after we left. Like, oh, he's this, he's that, he's that, he's he.
And even then, I don't even think we probably thought about how that was affecting us as far as just the apprehension of meeting your folks and how nervous you was versus kind of how open and comfortable I was into doing it.
I was not okay with it. I was not. I was nervous as I don't know what. Just because I already knew. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
When no matter how great you were, there was gonna be something.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's so messed up to think that, but I already just felt that. What's crazy is because when you met my mom, it wasn't like that. Remember? When you met my mom for the first time and you came over to the house, like she wasn't like that.
No, she wasn't.
I wasn't like that either. I wasn't nervous when you came over or anything.
Yeah,
but when we went over to my folks in them house,
your dad's house,
to my dad and my stepmom's house, like it was completely different.
Yeah, like, the energy was different.
Yeah,
that has an effect on relationships. Period. Especially like that first interaction with somebody's family. That's gonna like either like help make y'all or it's gonna help break y'all to a degree.
When your folks are offering to pay for a divorce and you're not even
in that space.
That's what you know. Like it's just okay. Yeah.
Yeah. When you told me that they were bringing that up and saying things about that and
telling me that they would pay for me to divorce you.
Right.
Yeah.
And we weren't even in that space.
Not even close. Like that had never even came up at that point. Like,
and that goes to show you as far as like somebody trying to cause and trying to create some type of
dysfunction
issue. Trying to create an issue that's not even an issue.
Right.
Right.
Putting it in the back of my head, basically, because anybody that says something like that, it's just like, oh, well, if I want to get out of it, I guess I can get out of it for free. Like, I guess,
Yeah.
But it's kind of messed up, right? It's a messed up mentality.
It's a messed up mentality. I would just think that it's just completely dysfunctional for somebody to even want to
offer something up like that,
especially if they don't even see that that's like the dynamic in your relationship. Like that, like there is no sense of friction that's even close to that, but they want to create that and put that in your head.
Yeah.
It just it just goes to show you like the level of how much they want you to fail.
Right.
You know, especially when you creating a family. You know?
Right.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Next question. Do you not truly know your partner until you move in together?
You're only going to know your partner so much until you move in with them. Like, literally.
I agree, because...
Like you could feel like you know so much about them. You could feel like y'all like so connected in so many ways, and y'all agree on so many things.
But then when you move in together and you find out they leave their clothes on the couch, or they don't pick up the towel when they done taking a shower,
or they like to leave a spoon, or
they don't like to make the bed up,
or they they go into the room and eat dinner and then leave a plate overnight,
right,
on the nightstand,
or like whatever your habits are not the same habits as that, like their living habits. Okay, we talking about living habits are not the same.
That, and then just core beliefs, because now you start to see what they really truly believe in.
Yeah, what they be doing when you're not looking, because usually you go home at nighttime, everything is good. Y'all split up, you go your separate ways, y'all living apart.
Yeah.
But then when it's like when y'all come together, it's like, shoot.
And you gotta like that too, and then you gotta like go to bed seeing them, and then you gotta wake up seeing them.
Yeah, just like shoot, now
I can't shake you.
Yeah, damn. Like,
Then that's how it was with us, like dating early on.
Yeah.
With us seeing each other like 24/7. Because I would be like, even before we like really, really was dating seriously, like I still had like my family and like my homies that I could go and see and talk to.
That. Yeah.
So when you start spending so much time together, it's like, dang, I need to break free and just go hang out with the guys. And it don't have to be anything like crazy, like you really trying to go out and like see other people.
You just want to do your thing.
You just want to break free and like kind of like just be around other people that's talking about something completely different than what you're talking about.
Right. Live independent, basically. Like you want to go live like your life in a sense. Yeah. But then when you start combining your lives and your livelihoods and your lifestyles and everything, like that type of thing, I feel like that's when the clashes start.
Yeah.
That's just like I feel like, and that's the reason why a lot of people start having a bunch of issues, especially when they're not married. Like, and I'm specifically probably more than anything talking about people who are not married, but like when you have a baby and it's like, oh man, we're going to love each other. We're going to raise a family. We're going to have a beautiful this. And you have all these expectations and things that you feel like you're going to accomplish. And then when you have a baby and then y'all start doing things differently and they want to parent one way and you want to parent, like that's when it's almost like that same difference of stuff, like shit starts hitting the fan because and it don't work out because that's what you thought was going to happen. Like you had these wishful thinkings of how you were going to raise this baby.
Exactly.
And everything's different when the baby gets here.
And then that goes to show you as far as like where your mindset is at, because there's so many things about your relationship that you didn't really even take into account before you even kind of dove into it that way. And I feel like those are like really good, strong relationship questions that you question and that should be addressed before you even move in with each other. Like really sitting down and talking about these types of things, because I think majority of us, you fall in love and you fall head over heels where you just feel like we love each other. We're going to figure it out as we go.
No.
And I think it could kind of set you up for a disaster.
Absolutely.
Because there's so many like really, really important life questions that you have to ask. Yeah. Like how y'all going to live? Who's going to do the dishes? Who's going to pay the electricity bill? It's a lot. Mm-hmm. And I feel like majority of us, especially like in our situation, we were just like, oh, we finna go do this.
And then, yeah, man, that's probably when we started. When we started arguing the most was when we moved in together.
Yes.
Because we really had to figure it out. Like, we really had to figure it out. Like,
because I think when we moved in together, it was like a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, like.
It was like an overnight thing. Like,
let's play house.
Let's go. Yeah. But let's move in together. You're like, okay, when? Yeah. Tomorrow? No, let's move in today.
Yeah, hell yeah. We gonna go next week.
Right. And that's exactly what we did too. And like I said, it didn't take long for us to start figuring out like what our real true core beliefs were and what we truly like, what our habits were, whether they were good habits or whether they were bad habits. It got to be a clashing of the minds. Like you got to bump heads in order sometimes to
growing pains
to grow, and sometimes that growing pain is what make y'all stick together or work it out even more.
Yeah, because if you don't have differences, then like what? I mean,
what is life really about if y'all can't argue?
It's just like when you get in a work situation, you don't like somebody, you figure out how to mold around like working with them because you have to.
Don't let me go up to his desk. Maybe I should send an email first.
Yeah, like let me figure out. And it's the same kind of dynamic in a way when you move in with somebody. It's like you kind of have to mold yourself around things that they do that you might not like, but it's a give and take. It's a push and a pull. And at the end of the day, like you have to find the healthy balance. And I feel like, we had to do that to figure it out.
Yeah. You literally got to learn on the fly, like from one day to the next, because you don't know you don't really know what you truly are going to expect.
I think that's when you figured out I was crazy for real.
Hey.
I'm just playing, y'all. I'm not crazy.
That's when we figured out that we both
I'm
was
a little
crazy.
bit crazy, but I'm not that crazy. Okay, maybe just a little bit, but y'all know. Okay.
That's when we found out that we both was thrown off in our own unique ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
That puppy love, it runs out real quick.
Oh, yeah. This was actually a really great conversation. I enjoyed today. I felt like we had a great flow today and poured into each other with this episode. Like a real conversation, some real talk in this episode. And I really hope somebody gets something out of this to know that you're not alone.
Yes.
And to our anonymous Scott, shout out to you. Thank you so much for writing in. And I wish you the very, very best in your future on working everything out. And that's in all sincerity. Like,
absolutely.
I truly, truly, hope you get well and can heal from this, to move forward in life. So
I really hope he gets some resolution too. And I just hope that through our conversation, I hope that he's able to gain some type of strength and some type of clarity too, more than anything.
Absolutely. Today was good though. I enjoyed the conversation. Okay, like y'all. I
learned some things today.
I did too. I learned you had a lot of girlfriends meet your mama and daddy. I didn't know that. Okay.
Well, I'm not saying that they
that's probably why they was ignoring all my voice calls when I was leaving voicemails on the answer machine like a crazy person. They was like, no, this girl right here. Okay.
Not at all. No, not all of them did, but I'm saying that I pretty much met all of their parents.
Oh, okay. They didn't meet yours.
No, not all of them.
I remember the first time. Your dad came home and I was laying on the couch sleep with slobber coming out. That was like the second time I had ever seen your dad, and you had left me outside because somebody came over to the house.
Oh, yeah, because I had walked outside and you were still inside.
Asleep. I don't know what the heck.
Yeah, you was inside. I ended up walking down the street.
Oh man, I was like real sleep.
And you was at the house and everything, and I was like,
slobber coming out on the corner of the couch and stuff. And your dad walked in. And, hey, I was like, hi, sitting up, wiping slobber off my lip and everything, y'all.
Yeah, but that lets you know that it's okay. It was okay for you to come over to the house when they weren't there, because I was okay with. When they pop up, you was gonna be there.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
y'all. Shout out to Pops though. Okay,
Pop Squally.
Yeah, he be watching us, so he still loved me. Okay, at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all so much for tapping in with us, hanging out with the fam today. We certainly appreciate y'all for dropping in. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share this video, y'all. Tell somebody, tell a friend to come on over here to Asia and BJ X the Script, y'all. And shoot, if you're on the streaming platforms, make sure you hit that download button, okay? Show us some love. Leave us a review. I would certainly appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for pulling up and showing us love. Hug your babies. Kiss your loved ones. Pet your dogs, y'all. I love y'all so much for everything y'all do for us. We could not be any of what we are without any one of y'all. And for that, we are truly thankful. If ain't nobody else told y'all today, I love y'all so much, and we're going to see y'all in the next episode, y'all.
Absolutely. Stay locked in. Stay tapped in. We love you guys. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.